Hi Taurus, welcome to your past life connection spread for the month of August. For those of you who are just now tuning in, these are generalized readings, so not everything in the reading may pertain to you. I am available to answer any questions as well as to do private readings and can be reached at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. So the first card in the spread has to do with your past life connection. And we have the Star card. This indicates that this was a time or a path that needed to focus on healing. Now, the next card is the Five of Wands, and it's rather a turbulent card, and this represents your spiritual lesson. And I think that when we are presented with this type of energy, more often than not, we are dealing with people who are around us who can sometimes be caught up in unhealthy BS. This has to do with toxic relationships that are around us, and often at times it feels like we are constantly fighting, however not really getting anywhere, not really moving forward, just staying within that constant state and trying to figure out a solution to this. Now, the next card is the Magician, and this represents how you connected with this individual. This is an acknowledgement that ultimately we can take control of this situation and move forward in the direction that we want. This is an acknowledgement. This is the first step. And this was all about trying to figure things out and trying to put the pieces together so that you can move forward. The next card is the Ace of Cups, and this represents the past life spiritual lesson. There's a lot of emotions that have happened in regards to this incarnation, both good and bad, but you also had some good, because I believe that this was the first incarnation that you two had found each other, and so this was the beginning of something new. But it also serves as trying to figure things out. We touched on that, in regards to, the Five of Wands and the Magician. But this has to do with, figuring things out within, figuring ourselves in, figuring out our self-worth, developing self-worth for ourselves, as well as igniting, this new relationship with each other. And since we are dealing with a Cup card, this also has to do with the reflection of the emotion, serving as a mirror to see things clearly, both good and bad. Now, the next card indicates, how you learned the spiritual lesson, and this is the Five of Swords, and it happens to be reversed. So this indicates that you happen to deal with a lot of deception, illusion, feeling like people are literally taking things from you and holding on to some anger, some pain, some hard feelings that you weren't able to let go. Now, the next card has to do with your current spiritual lesson for both parties, and the energy that we're dealing with in this incarnation is much lighter than the previous. In fact, I would say because we're dealing with the energy of the Ten of Cups, this is a much more fulfilling, solid type of, life path that you're on. You don't have the types of struggles or the lessons that you needed to learn in the previous life. Now, how you're doing in this life, we have the Nine of Swords. This is also known as the Nightmare card, and I think that when we're caught up in this energy, this tends to really play, or it has to do with a lot of anxieties that you're dealing with. It's called the Nightmare card because these are the things that keep us up at night, things that we just can't seem to shake. Now, the next card is the Wheel of Fortune, and this touches how the other person is doing in this life. And one thing I'd like to mention in regards to this person is that they're continuing some of the same patterns that they have repeated in the previous life. And this is a good message from the universe to just simply be aware of, trying not to repeat patterns, which I know it's kind of hard. You're like, well, I don't even know what I did in my last life. But there are some patterns that are being repeated that need some attention. This has to do with, more introspection and reflection and some processing that needs to be done on their part. Now, some advice for you is the Knight of Cups, and this is all about taking a moment to chill out and relax. It seems that often you like to go full balls out, so to speak, being very serious. And when we're working with the Knight of Cups, it's all about coming back to ourselves and finding a peace-like state and simply enjoying the present moment. Now, some advice for your partner is the Six of Wands. This person has a lot to be proud of and has accomplished quite a lot. And now is the time to celebrate those accomplishments, celebrate the things that they've had to overcome in this life, and simply celebrate their life. So with that said, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me at mantraflowtarot@gmail.com. Thanks, you guys.